All right, I'm back for NA2Z CS2's ongoing coverage of Fragadelphia 18. I'm here with nitr0 following a quick 2-0 win over Boss. So to start, a great scalp to take for you at Fragadelphia 18. Pretty easy overall for Energy. How are you feeling taking down a team that at the moment is ranked higher than Energy?
Yeah, so they went to RMR and stuff over us. We've been playing against them like online for the last like 2-3 weeks, like almost exclusively, just because like all the teams that are at the RMR were at the RMR in China and stuff. But it's been pretty hard to find practice. You know, there hasn't been like that many teams, especially in NA. Like we lost like the Zolos team that was from Brazil and stuff, so it's been kind of a struggle. But I think we just had a good grasp on how they play, and I think just having more like experience as a team, like we didn't really feel nervous at all going into it, and I think that was a big part of it.
Now, we talked to Daps earlier in the event, and he mentioned that you guys came here for a fairly pragmatic reason to just earn the VRS points that you need to, survive in the circuit next year. But now that you're doing so well at this event, is it kind of are you able to take something else away from this event? Perhaps that the work you guys have done this year is about to pay off, considering overall it has been something of a rough year for the Energy project.
Yes. Obviously, it's good to get together as much as possible when you're on a team, just to get to know the guys and stuff like that, especially since we just got Jeorge. I think it was really good to get together with him in real life, because we didn't really necessarily, I mean, some of us knew him like personally, but like for me, it's my first time meeting him in real life and stuff, and actually like having conversation with him. So for me, it was really important to get that kind of like grasp on how he thinks and like how he's as a person and stuff like that. So I think coming here is a huge advantage for the remainder of this season, and then also like coming into next season. We got a big tournament coming up in Pro League in February, so it's good to be able to like meet him and then have a break, and then it's just easier for everyone. But yeah, I mean the biggest thing was like the Val points. There's a lot of points on the lines considering like the teams that are here, and just like bonuses and stuff. So yeah, we kind of had to come here anyway.
Now, you mentioned bringing on Jeorge there. What ultimately influenced your decision to sort of bet on a younger player like Jeorge, considering... I'll give you a second. Yeah, so what influenced your decision to sort of bet on Jeorge to be sort of the future of this roster, considering so far Energy has been relatively firmly built around we're looking for, experienced players who have experience at Tier 1?
Well, I think the newest gen of CS is obviously like the younger players. As you see, like Mnmzzz, Donk, like all these young players coming up. So, sorry, this guy's raging next to me. It's funny. So yeah, I think like the new gen of like we need to be like scouting and seeing like who is like up and coming. And to be honest, like Jeorge is like pretty experienced for his age. He's 21. I think he has a really high understanding of the game, which is impressive at his age. So. Like I said, I didn't really know anything about him coming in. I just know he's really talented individually, and we need as much firepower as we can get. And Jeorge is obviously like really high in that department. So I think, considering his firepower is really strong, he also has a good grasp and understanding of the game, which is a huge plus.
Now, looking at this roster, we did talk about a sense of maybe expectations not met or general frustrations about the trajectory the team had, of course, missing out on both majors, one before you joined and one after you joined. Did you expect to have such a hard time coming back in the scene and finding results, or did you understand that there would be a period of sort of rebuilding and re-ramping up after your return from Valorant and then coming back to Counter-Strike?
If I'm being honest, I thought we would be a bit better than we were. When I joined like two months, I think, ahead of the major or something like that, or maybe even less. I'm not 100% sure on that, but my goal was to like be like in a really good spot by the time the RMR comes around. And then we wound up doing like a boot camp and stuff for like the RMR and the Atlanta qualifier, and ultimately we failed at both. So that was like really heartbreaking. And after that, just kind of come back to like the rebuilding phase and like seeing like what are we doing wrong? Are we like overthinking things? Are we just not shooting back hard enough sometimes? Or like what's like the main issue? And I think with Jeorge on the team, we kind of went like a different route, and I think it's the right direction. And yeah, it's just gonna take some time. Obviously, we have limited scrim still here with Jeorge. We have like probably like total like 13, 14 scrim, just because it's really hard to find like good top teams that we can actually like get good repetition against, because sometimes you just might blow a team out, you don't really learn anything. So we're trying to like play as much real CS as we can and just go from there right now.
Looking at this roster, I think it'd be fair to say that one of the areas that has been maybe open for criticism or open for debate is oSee's place in the squad, considering we've seen him, we all know oSee is capable of playing at a Tier 1 level. We've seen the incredible highs of oSee, with you, of course, on Team Liquid. But this year, I think, would be defined by a struggle in his career. You, probably out of anyone in the scene, would have the most acute understanding of oSee as a person, oSee as a player, and as a member of your team. How would you sort of contextualize his struggle, and what is the team doing to try to bring him back to the level that you, of course, know he can play at?
Josh is an incredible player. He's very smart too. So I think Josh is more of a confidence player, and when he's not confident, it really shows in game. So that's just something that we've been working on, especially since I came back, was trying to figure out does he want to be more structured? Does he want to be more of a supportive operator? Does he want to be leading into sites? What are we trying to get out of Josh to make him as effective as possible? And that's kind of where we were the last couple of months, trying to figure out how we can fully make sure that Josh is super comfortable in his roles, and maybe take up more of a leadership role in the CT sides, and say what you want to do. He has priority on whatever he wants to do. So we've been come back to the drawing board. I think in most teams that most operators are just going to say what they want to do because they have the best gun in the game, and it's one shot, one kill. So if they're feeling it, then you have to allow your operator to do whatever they want and call whatever they want to do. So it's just about, if he's going to call it, then he needs to be confident in it, and that's kind of where we're at right now. But he's been playing a lot better. He played really well today, which is really nice to see. So I think it's looking a lot better.
Now, knowing that we're sort of at the beginning of your third career in Counter-Strike, having the original career, then Liquid number 2, and now back with NRG. What influenced your decision ultimately to come back, especially knowing that you probably could have found a new team in Valorant, and with that team, obviously, you being a father, of course, that would definitely have less travel, less obligations. Was it something that was born of pragmatism, or was it born more of a idealism of, I want to try to do it again in Counter-Strike?
I think it's hard to say. When I went to Valorant, I was not thinking about CS at all, obviously, and it just didn't really go how I wanted it to go, and I didn't really see a future that would be comfortable for my family and I, living in LA and competing kind of like a day job. And also the game, I think CS is still a better game by far, and just the way the circuit is in Valorant is really tough. It's a really tough player market, and obviously I'm a bit on the older end right now, so it's I just had to weigh out all my options and just see, come back to the drawing board, see what I really want to do. And CS2, I had never played competitively. I played a show match or something like that on LAN. It was fun, obviously. So coming back, I think what I want to do now is kind of just give what I have to the newer generation of kids, and just keep trying to teach as much as I can, and just give whatever I have left in my tank and just keep going, because I actually love this game so much.
Now, your return was almost the harbinger of a return of a lot of the older guys who were part of the older CSGO generation. We do see, for example, Steel and Scoodle during day 1 here. Hopefully we'll see him on day 4, Lord willing. But Steel, as your former teammate on 100 Thieves in Valorant, of course, someone you've known for many years as a competitor, as a teammate, as just someone in the scene. With him coming back, what do you think about his return? What do you think about sort of his return, and do you think he still can do it, knowing the struggle? As someone who has had to come back and has had to relearn the game, he's kind of in a similar boat as you. So what do you kind of pardon me, they're shouting back there. So let's try that again. What advice would you offer? What advice would you offer to Steel as someone who's in a similar boat to you? He's coming back, in his early 30s. He's going to be unbanned from Valve majors, and it looks like he's trying to do it again. So what advice could you offer him as a former teammate to try to find his way in Counter-Strike 2?
Well, I think he's a bit different than me, because he's also trying to balance these casting opportunities he has and analyst opportunities he has. And if you're not on a payroll, then obviously you need to chase as much as you can and just make a living for yourself as well. So he's trying to balance both right now, but I think it's great to have him back competing. And I think, just like me, the most important thing is trying to teach younger players how to actually play CS, and trying to because right now it's a lot of teams in NA don't really understand the highest level of CS. So if they go play against Tier 1 CS, they're going to get destroyed every single time, because they don't understand. There's so much into it than just running around and just as a 4-man unit and just trying to like kill everyone. Like there's so much, it goes so much deeper. There's like different parts of the round that you have to fully understand like what's going on, where they're rotating, all that kind of stuff. So he was actually on a team with my little brother, so that was cool to see. I'm sure he taught him a lot, but yeah, I think it's great to have anyone back, to be honest, especially as an IGL.
Now, you stole my next question there, because I think a lot of people wouldn't actually know that nitr0 has a younger brother and an older brother. Focusing on the younger brother, Andrew, known as Blend, like you said, he did actually play with a lot of the old guys. He was playing with, for those who don't know, he's playing with Nothing this season, playing with Braxton this season, Swag, playing with Steel, playing with Skadoodle. So he's almost playing with like the all-star squad of your generation. What can you tell me about him as a player? Is he someone who's wanting to go pro, or where does his heart lie in Counter-Strike?
I think he would, if the opportunity arose, he would fully invest into it. It's just kind of hard right now because it's hard for any Tier 2 pro to like make it right now, especially with the new system coming up. But I think he wants to compete, and honestly, he has better mechanics than a lot of like the people I even compete against right now in Tier 2. I think it's just a matter of him understanding the game at the highest level, or a higher level, I guess, in this case, and just grinding. That's all you can really do. Like, if you're trying to become a Tier 1 pro, you have to grind, and you have to go through FPL. You have to get your name out there somehow, because you're not just going to be, like thrown into the wolves. Like, you have to actually like earn it, and I think that's kind of where he's at in his, I can't even say career, but like, his life. So
I would never ask you to make the call of, your brother, would you endorse him as a player? But I think it's clear to say that, you do think he has good mechanics. He does have a potential. So, you didn't sell your brother to the wolves there. In closing, as someone who's won the Intel Grand Slam, who's been to tons of majors, who's done everything in his career, can you still find meaning in potentially winning this event here? A local NA LAN.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've attended a LAN in any game, and yeah, obviously it'd be great to win here, considering we haven't like won that much this year together. We won like 2 things, 3 things maybe. But just winning on LAN in general, especially against the guys that we play against every day online for practice, will be rewarding in itself. Yeah.
All right, so NRG are looking like a team that may be able to do it, taking down Boston and are confident 2-0. Thank you so much for your time, nitr0, and we'll let you guys get ready for what is going to be a marathon of matches tomorrow.